The first player that probably pops in mind when thinking about what the Utah Jazz got back from the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Donovan Mitchell trade a year ago is Lauri Markkanen. A new environment did him well, as he was named an All-Star for the first time in his career last season and won the Most Improved Player award. Another player Utah acquired in that deal was Ochai Agbaji, the 14th overall pick in the 2022 NBA Draft out of the University of Kansas. In his rookie campaign, he appeared in 59 games and averaged 7.9 points, 2.1 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 0.3 steals, and 0.3 blocks. There is a particular advanced stat, though, that speaks to how impactful he can end up being on the defensive end. It's a stat, in fact, that he ranked number 1 in the league in during his rookie season. Agbaji was the closest defender to 203 three-point attempts per second spectrum tracking data, and opponents shot just 28.6% on those tries. Among those who were the closest defender to at least 200 three-point shots, that was the lowest mark. In case you're curious, number 2 on this list was Herb Jones of the Pelicans, and number 3 was Javon Carter, then with the Bucks and now with the Bulls. Other notables in the top 10 were Draymond Green, Derek White, and Markelle Fultz. The closest defensive field goal percentage is a stat that some dispute as anything meaningful because some question whether it proves enough. Closest defender means literally the closest defender. So yes, occasionally the closest defender could be, let's say, 5 or 6 feet away, which in those situations the defender had no impact on whether the offensive player made the shot or not. But in most cases, players with good CDFG percentages contested many of the shots they were the closest defender to. That's certainly true for Agbaji, who contested 195 of those 203 three-pointers that he was the closest defender to, per data. Just reviewing the footage, we can see that almost always he made it his business to do whatever he could to disrupt or obstruct the shooter. There's another element to this that is very important, and that is that Agbaji is exceptional at keeping his opponents in front of him. So opponents took 136 shots on drives when he was the on-ball defender, and on those shots, only 14.7% of the time did the opponent blow past him off the dribble. Among the 194 players that guarded at least 120 shots on drives, that was the second best blow-by percentage. Lonnie Walker IV, then with the Lakers and now with the Nets, was the only player with a better mark, as his was 14.4%. Now an assessment of his offensive game. The likelihood is that he will be classified as a 3-and-D player, but he does have a little more in his arsenal than someone that's just going to hang around the perimeter. He can cut a little bit and run to the rack in transition, but it's his three-point shooting off the catch that will likely determine his placement in the league, as it is with most role players. Now, he shot 35.5% overall from three-point distance, but impressive was his corner three-point shooting. He made 45.8% of his 96 three-point corner attempts, which is a great mark for a rookie. As a side note, Lauri Markkanen shot 49.5% from the three-point corners on 103 attempts, which was a top 5 mark in the league. His season high in scoring was 28 points, but that came in the second to last game of the year against Denver, with the Nuggets starters playing limited minutes and Utah not playing any of its normal starters. So I would say his best performance came on March 20th in a Jazz win over the Sacramento Kings. He had 27 points that night on 8 of 14 overall shooting. Most impressive about this performance was his shooting off movement. You look at these clips and it shows just how good he is at squaring up immediately after relocating. He also made this three with Harrison Barnes sagging back. And then he had this nice slip to the basket for a dunk, as well as a basket off a cut inside. In all, he had 4 games with 20 plus points, and then he had an additional 16 double-digit scoring games. So that'll wrap up this video. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe.